Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the 2021 NR2003 NASCAR Cup Series season here on the channel, closing in towards the end of the regular season. And today we head northeast to New Hampshire Motor Speedway, fresh off of a Chase Elliott victory last week at his home track from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coming at you today for 170 laps. You see 181 on your screen. That is for potential overtime if necessary. Stage 1 is 45 laps. Stage 2 is 45 laps as well, and then we'll be going from lap 190 to 171 to decide a winner. Today I am joined by JayCook as usual. Jay, we only get to come to this track once per year now. We used to have 2 dates on the calendar for New Hampshire. A very unique track here, the short 1 mile long oval here at New Hampshire. What are you looking forward here for today for?
I'm looking forward to this in R because I think this will still be a good race where we'll see them too wide and actually be able to make passes and different line works and different lines work and all that kind of stuff. As far as real life goes, this track is, always been one of the more boring ones. Glad they only go here once a year now. I think that honestly, except for Daytona, Talladega, we should only go to each track once a year. But anyways, that's aside from the point. I am looking forward to this race. We have a really interesting playoff battle going on right now with between Matt DiBenedetto, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, and some others. So we're getting down here to the final stretch of the regular season, and every point matters. So these races are now becoming extremely crucial until the playoffs.
So like I said, 170 laps coming your way today. Pace car pulls off. Eric Almirola getting ready to lead the field to the green flag as we get underway here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Joey Logano up in the mix. Martin Truex Jr., who is in desperate need of a good run today if he wants to keep his playoff hopes alive going into the final few races of this regular season. Almirola leads the way at a turns 2 as you look through the order. Joey Logano, Penske Racing in general, always a threat when it comes to this racetrack. I don't think any of us are surprised to see a guy like Joey and, of course, Ryan Blaney and Keselowski, all Penske cars up here in the top 10 early on.
Not really surprised to see them up here in the top 10 at any race. They've been very strong this season. For a while, Keselowski struggled to get himself inside the playoffs, but he still was having decent runs, just not getting those good finishes. Then he finally clicked off that win, and now he's been on kind of a hot streak lately, along with his teammates of Logano and Ryan Blaney, and also that fourth Penske car, Penske-associated car, Matt DiBenedetto, fighting for his playoff spot. So they've all been strong this season, and it's not surprising to see them be strong week in and week out, especially here at New Hampshire.
And there you see Martin Truex Jr. trying to look up the inside of Eric Almirola as they go down this front straightaway. See if he can work himself into the playoffs now. So after today, there's only going to be 4 races left in the regular season, 2 of those being red courses, and 2 of those Michigan and Daytona. In NR 2003, we know Michigan definitely could be a pack race, and Daytona, of course, will be for sure. So some interesting races coming up here now as Kyle Busch is in need as well to run really well. I mean, Jay, it's crunch time for Kyle Busch. 5 races remain in the regular season. He is 23 points below the cut line coming into today. We see where he's running right now. Do you think that he's going to be on the inside of the playoffs after today?
If he's able to keep himself out of trouble and he keeps on the same hot streak he's been on for, I don't know, the last month or 2 now, I think we could see him inside the playoffs, if not right there on the cusp, maybe just a couple points out. He's been extremely strong, one of the hottest drivers in this series of recent. And that really shows in his points with how much he's gained. He's really come up out of nowhere from quite a large deficit down to where now he's only 23 points outside the playoffs. But we have a lot of guys around him who are strong as well. We've got Tyler Reddick, who's 21 out, 1 spot above him, and his teammate Martin Truex Jr., who's 51 out, and Truex is right now fighting for the lead. So if Truex wins, then that winds up putting Chris Busch to the last car in the playoffs, and that puts kind of a big separation between all these drivers. It'll be about 60 points or so between DiBenedetto and Chris Buescher. So if Truex wins, this really does kind of create a 4 or 5 guys really jockeying for that last spot, but it puts a whole lot of separation there.
And if you notice, everything doesn't look quite as crisp on the track as it usually does. You can kind of see some blurriness there with the crowd and the billboards. I just recently updated my NVIDIA drivers, and I forgot to actually redo the preferred settings for NR 2003 with that game. So I'll try and have that fixed for next week. Didn't even think about that, to be honest there. Now, as you see Ryan Blaney working on the back of the 1 car of Kurt Busch. Jay, one thing I'm seeing here, which I haven't seen all season, is these guys are actually getting a little bit physical running into the back of one another. I mean, late in this regular season. It's crunch time for some of these guys. I mean, it doesn't surprise me one bit to see them getting a little bit more physical than usual.
Yeah, they really cannot wait around any longer. This race is a short race. There's only a handful of races left before the playoffs. We have a couple week break coming up as well, so you want to have momentum going into that. So yeah, these guys are going to be aggressive with each other. It's a short track. It's a flat track, so you have to kind of be physical and make contact in order to get past somebody. So yeah, I expect these guys to be pretty physical today, and it might wind up in a wreck that takes out somebody fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, after today's episode, we do have 2 weeks off before the actual next points race, so we're going to be doing a couple of exhibition races in between just for some fun, so stay tuned for that. I have one track lined up that we definitely got to do, and I don't know about the other one after that, but excited for that. But some news, of course, came out this week in the NASCAR Cup Series silly season world. I mean, looking at these 2 drivers right here. So Brad Keselowski has been confirmed, finally, the worst kept secret of the season. It was terribly kept. It was almost as badly kept secret as Carl Edwards going to JGR back in 2015 or so, I think that was. But we now know officially Keselowski is leaving Penske Racing next season, going to Roush Fenway Racing. That announcement is supposed to be coming next Tuesday from the sounds of it. But Jay, more news, of course. Matt DiBenedetto in the 21 car right now in our series, in the playoffs, not in the playoffs right now in real life, and quite a ways out from that. He's going to probably have to win, but we know Harrison Burton's moving up from the Xfinity Series to this car. What do you make of this announcement from Penske, as well as the 21 of DiBenedetto now without a ride currently going into next season?
Well, you know, I'm a little bit biased being a fan of DiBenedetto. I think if I weren't a fan of Matty D, I probably would be excited to have Harrison Burton finally in the Cup Series. He's a guy that there's a lot of promise with, a lot of talent there, and some high expectations as well from him. I don't think we're going to see him perform in his first season, obviously, because still got to get through all the rookie things, and it's going to be a brand new car next year and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if we're going to see him perform right away, but I do think that after he gets a couple years under his belt, we could really see this guy be in contention for races. It'll be nice to see him in the Cup Series. I just personally wish it was in a different car. As much as that 21 team has struggled, it's still been the best ride DiBenedetto's ever had a chance with. He's even said recently he feels like that team is finally in the best spot they've been in since he's been there. Their performance has kind of shown that recently. They're starting to perform better, have more speed. It's just kind of unfortunate with the 2 seasons he's had with that team too, has been riddled with the pandemic, and so there's been no practice or qualifying or anything like that. It's just been race. I'm sad about the situation because I don't want to see DiBenedetto leave that team, but I'm sure there's going to be another ride out there that wants him, whether it be Xfinity Series or maybe something in the Cup Series, and he can eventually find his way into a top ride. He's such a great talent that if he's able to find some kind of sponsorship, he could easily be in a top ride.
And now, obviously, I mean, this is not the first time DiBenedetto's been in a position like this. We have seen him time and time again get sacked from the JGR program twice, actually. And now he got in the 21. He's being sacked again. So what do you think would be the best career move for him? Would you think, as we also just saw, Kyle Larson just got by Joey Logano for second place, but would it be wise for him to maybe take a midfield, even a lower field ride in the Cup Series, or maybe aim for a top-tier car in the Xfinity Series to maybe go and prove himself?
Well, there's obviously still options open in the Cup Series at the moment. There's the possibility of a new 23XI car, the possibility of a new Trackhouse car, or there will be a new Trackhouse car, actually, sorry. And I think there might be a couple other options out there as well. So he's got some options to try and explore and see if he can get a deal done. But if he can't, I don't think he takes a midfield ride, because if you look at what John Hunter is doing, John Hunter struggled in the Cup Series last year. Now he's back down in the Truck Series, and he's absolutely dominating the crap out of that series. And now Toyota's looked at him and said, okay, we kind of want to give this guy more money. We kind of want to send this guy up to our system now, and maybe he gets back to the Cup Series eventually in the top ride. So I think if DiBenedetto's not able to find himself in a good ride for next season, and a ride that he feels confident in, that they could build up together and go win races and stuff, I feel like he might take a ride down in the lower series where he's able to win races, show off the kind of talent he has, and maybe eventually build his way back up into the Cup Series. I have to think at this point he's kind of done with just being stuck in lower tier equipment and just being the afterthought of everybody else in the Cup Series.
And then, of course, we also have in the 2 car for Penske Racing, Austin Cindric. There's to see Kyle Larson side by side for the lead now, and Eric Almirola. But Austin Cindric, Xfinity Series champion from last year, doing a good job with that team this year. I think that was the obvious choice when we knew from the sounds of it Kozlowski was leaving. He was originally signed to go to the 21 car, but obviously with Kozlowski leaving, that changes everything. Penske has control over that 21 car, so he can easily handle that contract and put Cindric in that 2 car for the next year. So, I mean, Jay,
And
it's probably the best option Penske Racing had, I would think.
yeah, and it certainly sounds like to me as well. That was kind of the plan the whole entire time, ever since this Keselowski thing started coming out. You know, I think the plan was immediately to move Cindric over to the 2, and I think it was even what had been told to DeBenedetto, because he went on SiriusXM the day after, or the day of this whole thing got announced, the day after he found out, and he said that he was not able to negotiate for a ride until the day before, when he was actually told that he was not, or that he would not be returning to the 21 next season. So I think the entire plan for Penske up until now had been to have Cindric go to the 2 and then DeBenedetto stay in the 21. And now all of a sudden this Harrison Burton thing comes out of nowhere, and DeBenedetto is left with almost the end of the regular season. All of a sudden now without a ride, when thinking probably this whole time for these last couple of months, okay, I'm going to stay in the 21. Now all of a sudden he's shunted. So that's kind of the unfortunate thing for him, is that they had this plan to keep him, and all of a sudden now it's changed, and he's having to all of a sudden scramble and start searching for a ride as we're almost done with the regular season.
Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens there with the Benedetto, but we hope we get to see him remain in the Cup Series in some competitive cars would be great for him as well. I mean, I've been a big advocate to put him in the car that's leading right now of that 10 for Stewart Haas Racing with Eric Almirola behind the wheel. Unlikely it'll happen. There's a lot of sponsorship money that Eric Almirola brings along. He can go to any top team he wants really now, as you see Kyle Larson continuously trying to work on the back of him now, and we're not even halfway through stage 1 yet. It's actually taking a little bit here now, but Kyle Larson, he just actually signed a contract extension, of course, with Hendrick Motorsports in real life, but here in NR2003 lately, and just like real life, he's had this fall off where he hasn't been winning anymore. In NR2003, it's been a little more significant. He's been having some rough races, but here he is running good today. I mean, what do you make of his performance today? Obviously, he just got passed for second place, but right now having a nice rebound, which I think is really important as we close in towards the end of this regular season for him.
Yeah, he has been struggling recently, but so far today he's looked like he's got good speed under the car. At the moment, I'm not sure if anybody's going to be able to get past that 10. I think that we're dealing with another clean air type situation here. But he does look like he has a fast car, and it looks like he's back to being competitive again. You know, it's not like he was running terribly. He just wasn't running to what Kyle Larson had been running this entire season so far. So for his expectations and for kind of what we all expected, he was certainly in a slump recently. And more so, definitely, like you said, in NR, he actually had some pretty bad races in NR. So far today at New Hampshire, he's looking pretty good. Just don't know if we're going to be able to see anybody get past that 10 car, just simply because I think clean air is also once again a big issue.
There you see Daniel Suarez won at Pocono in that second doubleheader race. He is locked in the playoffs. Having a rough start to the day, is down in 22nd place. Tyler Reddick, who's been on the downfall lately, now 21 points below the cut line today, is not running well at all. He's down in 26th place, having a very rough run so far. I mean, we're looking at just the drivers that are trying to get in the playoffs. Of course, Alex Bowman, must-win situation at this point. He is now over 100 points below. Buescher comes into this race about 80 points above the cut line, running right behind his teammate of Ryan Newman right now. So he's not having the greatest run in the world, but P14, that'll be enough for them to really get them to the playoffs without any new winners, that is. But, I mean, we're looking around that cut line, and Kyle Busch, right now, not gaining anything on Matt DiBenedetto, but right now the big gain so far is Martin Truex Jr. in this 19. So, I mean, at this rate right here, obviously he can be, 44. So what am I looking at? He's 51 coming out, 51 below coming into this race. So actually maybe like a 47, 46 below after stage 1. So right now, Jay, I mean, 5 races left in the regular season. Truex chipping away by 4 or 5 points per race still isn't going to be enough for them. So they're going to need some problems. At least one race, I think they're going to need a problem for that 21 to happen.
Yeah, I think that they are going to need something for that 21 to happen, or they're going to need to go out and win a race themselves. Truex was on fire there for a bit as well, much like his teammate Kyle Busch, but now he's kind of cooled off and was not getting those results that he was looking for to get himself into a really good spot points-wise. So 51 points back is not undoable, but it is pretty far stretched. Is comparable to where the 21 has been running all season long, especially now with Kyle Busch, how hot he's been. So I think, in my opinion, it's kind of down to the moment between the 21 or the 18. just because those two are the ones that have been consistently strong recently. Tyler Reddick has been slipping down, and now he's outside the playoffs, looking like at the moment he's going to keep slipping further down. So Truex is really, I think, at this point going to have to look at winning. We're really, really, really relying on problems for the 18 and the 21.
I mean, we're also looking at the situation right now is the surprise winners we have had this season. So Ross Chastain, Cole Custer, I mean, even Daniel Suarez as well. You could almost throw Bubba Wallace into the mix of that, but even without the win, Bubba currently would be on the inside looking in, or he would be on the inside of the playoffs. So, I mean, specifically Custer, Suarez, as well as Ross Chastain have really been our surprise winners this season. So Jay, I mean, you take 3 cars right there. I mean, Suarez would actually only be a few points below the cut line, but you take out at least Chastain as well as Custer. That puts Reddick and Kyle Busch in, and instead of Truex being 51 points below the cut line, he's only 30 points below, and then Alex Bowman still within somewhat striking distance of 80 points below. So that just goes to show just how screwed up that playoff grid can get, and maybe how much of a flaw that win and your in deal is here in the Cup Series.
Yeah, Custer and Chastain really, really threw this playoff grid for a loop with those two getting their wins. They are keeping Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick outside the playoffs right now. When granted, Kyle Busch this whole season has been kind of struggling, but as of late he's really turned it up. But Tyler Reddick, for the most part, except for the last couple of weeks, has been really performing above where you would expect. So he's been a playoff caliber driver, and unfortunately at the moment he's going to wind up missing the playoffs because of those wins that Custer and Chastain have. So I have long been an advocate of them getting rid of the win in your in system, or make it maybe 2 wins in your in. I think that would be deserving, because if you're able to win 2 wins, if you're able to get 2 wins in the regular season, that shows me that you are indeed a competitive car and you deserve to be in the playoffs. So maybe they should stretch it to 2 wins in your in, but certainly and get rid of just getting 1 win in your in. I never have liked that system that much. I get that they want to make wins be the most important thing in the world, but when you have 2 Talladegas on the schedule, well, 1 Talladega in the regular season, 2 Daytonas in the regular season, that is the potential for 3 winners to get, or for 3 cars to get a win that normally wouldn't. And that to me is a little bit much. When you have the potential to keep 3 playoff caliber drivers out of the playoffs, that's when they need to look at changing the system, because it is winning you're in is not that great in my opinion.
Absolutely, and seeing a lot of tire fall off here today. By the way, lap time slowing down quite significantly as this run goes on. Pit stops are coming up shortly, so we will stick around for that. We probably stick around for the whole first stage here, actually, now, as there's only going to be 16 laps to go. But another interesting fact here is Kevin Harvick. He won the very first 2 races on the season. He won the Daytona 500, won the Daytona Road Course. It's been a struggle ever since then. Didn't even touch his rating, by the way. He's just downright struggled since those 2 wins. He would actually be outside of the playoffs right now. If it wasn't for those 2 wins, he would be out by 11 points coming into this race here in New Hampshire if he didn't pick up the first 2 wins on the season. So interesting there, Jay. I mean, yeah, obviously it looks great right now. If you just look at it on paper by the numbers, he's got 2 wins on the season, up towards the top of the playoff grid with those 2 wins. But in reality, it's been a huge struggle for a team that would be outside of the playoffs if they didn't pick up those wins early on in the year.
Yeah, and we were kind of saying that ever since he started struggling with the next couple of races after that. I think it was after 2 or 3 races of him struggling, we were immediately saying these wins are super important, because now he's locked in. So if he struggles, then he's still going to be locked into the playoffs. And I did not expect him to keep struggling all the way through the regular season to where we're now down to 4 races left, and he's still struggling week in and week out. I did not expect that from that team, especially with the way they started off with 2 wins. I thought maybe he'd struggle for a month or so, and then all of a sudden you start kind of clicking off top 5s and maybe getting wins again. But he really truly has just had an absolute abysmal regular season aside from those 2 wins. So that just goes to show how important those wins can be. And I get, again, why NASCAR wants to make the wins more important, but that also shows me that he got 2 wins, and then he's been not performing like a playoff driver ever since. So even with my suggestion of getting 2 wins and you're locked in, he'd still be locked in. But the chances of somebody getting 2 wins and then struggle the rest of the regular season, or struggle every other race in the regular season aside from the 2 that they win, are pretty low. So that's why still I advocate for get rid of winning you're in. Because it truly should be the best 16 drivers who performed the best across the entire regular season, not who got lucky and got a win.
It's fascinating for Harvick because after he won those first two races, he went to Homestead in race number 3. One of the top cars there was running right up front, got wiped out in a huge accident early in that race. Then went to Las Vegas the next week, came back and was actually in position to win that race, got taken out by Quinn Half. A lap car late in that one, and then ever since then, everything just went downhill for Kevin Harvick. That was really the moment that already seemed to change the season very early on, as Logano side by side with Eric Almirola. You see, they're going about 80 miles per hour through the corners. It looks really slow, but it's not terribly slow. But compared to what we were at early in the run, the tire fall off, I think, Jay, this is the most tire fall off we have ever seen throughout this season so far.
Yeah, I really I did not expect there to be this much tire fall off coming into this race, and these guys at the moment seem to be really struggling with it as well. Those lap times are falling way down. We've seen some guys who were up front to start this race kind of slip back now. We've seen some guys make a little bit of a charge as well. So yeah, tire fall off. I guess certainly is going to play a big factor today, which I did not expect. I don't think New Hampshire really is a tire eating track.
Kyle Larson as well, really able to defend well on that second lane, and now Kurt Busch is going to take an attempt at it, see if he can get around the 2018 Cup Series champion of Joey Logano. And I think it's actually going to work out pretty well for Kurt here, maybe out of turns 4. No, Logano might get clear here. His pit stops should be coming pretty soon here within the next few laps, I would assume. Now 10 laps to go in the stage now. I mean, the first 5 cars now all together here in New Hampshire. Truex, Elliott, Kyle Busch, and then you got Keselowski as well as Hamlin rounding out the top 10. So DiBenedetto right now giving up 3 points at the moment to Kyle Busch. So that would put Kyle Busch now 20 points below the cut line. So it's going to get interesting here now, as it looks like we do have the pit stops finally happening here, as Eric Almirola, just about everybody coming in. And Jay, I mean, based off what we're seeing, we see Truex stay out here. I mean, obviously, if a caution comes out, it looks great on them. But with this tire fall off, I think today staying out longer than the majority of everybody is going to be your worst enemy.
Yeah, I think one lap's not going to be the worst thing in the world. You still will lose time, but it's not the worst thing in the world if you're only staying out one lap. Maybe they're thinking they don't want to pit with everybody to kind of have pit road chaos here, because we know how NR pit road can be. There's always the potential for something to happen here where guys get damaged, and just like that, just happened to Kyle Larson. He's now got rear end damage. So maybe they're just waiting one extra lap to not be on pit road with a whole bunch of people. But if they extend this 3, 4, 5 laps, I mean, maybe even just 2 laps, they're going to lose a ton of time. So they really need to get themselves on pit road quickly here.
Almirola off first. Larson, I just watched the rear end get magically fixed, so they are in good shape at least now as they come through. Out of turn 2, wow, a really good exit right there for Kyle Larson. It looks like it might catch Almirola off guard. He's going to look to the right-hand side. Oh, he's going to actually slow up, though, into turns 3. So Martin Truex Jr. Is now on the pit lane making his pit stop. So, yeah, he did one extra lap than the rest of the field, it looks like now, as we see a lot of cars coming out. But with less than 10 laps to go, it's going to be a battle between Kyle Larson, Martin Truex, or sorry, not Martin Truex Jr., but Eric Almirola and Kurt Busch. And out of nowhere, here comes Kurt Busch and Blaney into the mix. They're going to sweep on past the number 5 of Larson and put a lot of pressure on the back of Eric Almirola, especially that one car of Kurt Busch as they go down into turn 3. Jay, Kurt's been making a statement lately in real life, picking up the win in real life there at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and here he is today backing it up in NR 2003 with his potential career on the line. We don't know where his future is yet, and here he is making a big statement again.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd see him. I didn't think we'd be able to see anybody getting past Almirola, much less him. He's kind of come out of nowhere after this pit stop. They seem like they made really good adjustments, or Almirola's gotten something wrong with the car, and they adjusted wrong. And he's going to be able to get past Eric Almirola here. So now we have a new leader in Kurt Busch. And honestly, I did not expect that to happen. I thought that we were once again going to have a whole thing of clean air, is the big advantage here. So props to Kurt Busch for being able to get around Eric Almirola early in this second run.
No, oh yeah, no, he is clear into turns 1. So Kurt Busch to the lead now. Blaney's going to try and take a crack at it to the inside of Eric Almirola. Blaney just won a few weeks ago at Road America. Kind of caught us all off guard there. That was his second win on the season. Now, as you see, both Elliott and Logano chasing down these front 4 drivers of Larson. Blaney now, so Blaney was not able to complete that pass, and now Larson's trying to attack to the outside. Is he going to be able to make it happen? No, he is not. It seems very hit or miss on that second lane so far today now, as we have just 5 laps to go in stage 1. And Kurt Busch is closing in on lap traffic. Not sure. It's been green all of stage 1. Obviously, the good news, Jay, is the last few times we've talked about it being green all of stage 1 and then leading to chaos in stage 2. It never did turn into chaos. So, but I think to the trends when it comes to the short tracks, though, it usually turns into absolute madness in stage 2. So this could just be like the kind of little exciting event leading up into the big, just absolute disaster in stage 2. As we actually have trouble. Oh my goodness, the timing with that. Around goes Quinn Half, it looked like, and yes, the caution is out. And wow, that's going to potentially end stage 1. So I think actually, Jay, we're getting into the main event early.
Yeah, I was just about to agree with you on that. The short tracks have been the places where stage 1's
Blaney got the lead.
2 and 3 have been chaos. So I was just about to agree with you on that. We didn't even get to finish saying that sentence before we even get to finish stage 1 before there was chaos to end this first stage. So now we're going to get a restart here for stage 2 with some lap cars involved as well. There's going to be at least 1 damaged car in the field, if not 2. So now here we go with stage 2 and 3 here. We have the very big possibility of creating some chaos.
It is saying Ryan Newman is actually scored as the leader right now. I'm not sure if he stayed out. That was something I hadn't even been paying attention to. But he is going to come to the pit lane, and so is everybody else. So I believe Ryan Newman had stayed out. We're going to get confirmation, but I don't know how he stayed out that long compared to everybody else. But like I said, we're going to get some confirmation on what happened there, as well as a replay of the crash. But I mean, nonetheless, everybody coming into the pit lane here. And yeah, stage 1 is going to end under caution, I believe. The maximum would be at 1 lap dash at the absolute most, but I don't believe that is going to happen. We might actually be going green on the same lap that the stage ends, or the lap after, I should say. So, yeah, I mean, Ryan Newman, that's interesting. We're going to get confirmation here in just a second. We just want to see the race off of the pit lane now, as it looks like it's going to be 4 tires for Eric Almirola. And there goes Newman there. He is definitely the leader, so I don't know what happened. But Blaney goes out, and then Almirola gets beat out by the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. So real quick, let's go get a look at why Ryan Newman is out front here, as well as a replay of that incident here in stage 1. Here's a look at why Ryan Newman is leading. He did not take 2 tires. He didn't stay out. No, he just was the first guy to pit of anybody very early. He was 13th place when he pitted. And Jay, that just goes to show how huge today the tires are going to be. He went from 13th to 1st by pitting 2, 3, 4 laps earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, it's not like he pitted 6, 7, 8 laps earlier. I think he pitted a maximum of 3 laps earlier than the other leaders. So that is a huge showcase of how important tires are going to be today. And wow, that is a ton of time gained, and what a strategy by that team. And honestly, that is an amazing stroke of luck that they try that, they get the lead, and then the caution comes out, and now they are in the lead with clean air. And Ryan Newman being who Ryan Newman is, not easy to pass at all. I don't know if we'll ever see him get past for the lead at all, just based on how the fact that he has clean air and the fact that he's Ryan Newman.
Might have just won the race with that move. Now, as we're going to get a look, though, at that caution that just came out here. I mean, perfect timing for Ryan Newman, who was actually being run down very quick. And we had no idea. We didn't even notice it was happening. So let's get a look, though, at that crash. Here's a look at what happened to Quinn Half. He goes into turns 1, goes wide, off the pace. And Jay, I'm just guessing maybe Anthony Alfredo was not looking in front of him here.
Yeah, kind of dumb by Quinn Half to be sitting in the racing line still. But yeah, I also don't know how Alfredo didn't see him. He just wound up running into the back of him. Not too sure what happened there to Quinn to make him slow down like that, but obviously there was something going on with that car. And then ARCA brakes ensued, for lack of a better term, and Alfredo hits him. And
you saw Newman actually was very close to hitting, I believe that was Alfredo that was at the bottom of the track as well. But caution's out here from New Hampshire, and now it looks like Ryan Newman is in position to win stage 1. And there you see the live scene. Ryan Newman is going to come through to win stage 1. And I believe we're going to get the 1 to go right here at the line. Yes, we are. So we're going to get right into the restart here from New Hampshire for the start of stage 2. So we get a good chunk of racing here for this second stage now. So the caution kind of worked out perfectly in that sense. But Jay, I mean, clutch call from the Rush Fenway Racing team. Of course, Newman, they're in a position they got to win anyways to get into the playoffs. So it doesn't hurt to take a gamble like this. It doesn't really affect their season. And it paid off perfectly for them with that caution.
Yeah, certainly a fantastic call and a lot of luck put into that as well. So, you know, it'll be interesting here to see if he's able to keep the lead with clean air. And you know, Ryan Blaney showed that he was extremely fast there just before he had that caution. So if there's anybody that can get past him, I think it's going to be Ryan Blaney.
And as well, some losers from that is Kyle Busch did not end up getting stage points, so he's down in 13th, so he gains nothing on DiBenedetto. Matt DiBenedetto is down in 20th place, so this is an opportunity for a guy like Martin Truex Jr., who did get 8 points, by the way, so he could really have a big gain here in stage 2 over Matt DiBenedetto's. We are back underway here from the second stage. Newman leads the way through 1 and 2. You see the damaged 00 Starcom car of Quinn Half in the mix. Are we about to have one of those crazy stage 2s? I think we are, because there we go. We got a violent crash. Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, a violent accident there. Multiple cars involved. The 17 of Chris Buescher, that's going to be a big hit there. The 14 of Briscoe. The 8 of Reddick might have got a piece of it, doesn't look like it. Oh, we got another incident. Oh, Anthony Alfredo William Byron with some damage as well. The 47 of Stenhouse. And wow, Jay, just literally as I was asking if it's about to get crazy, it got crazy just like we thought it was going to.
And I think this could be the expectation we can have for the rest of this race now. It's following the other short tracks where we have a very clean stage 1. And then immediately, right away, stage 2 and stage 3 gets turned into chaos and caution-filled. Newman may win this just based on the fact that we only get one more green flag lap the rest of this race.
Here's an interesting dynamic, though. He's staying out while Ryan Blaney and the other leaders are going to come in. So, and I think one lap would make quite a big difference here. So, we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out, but we're going to immediately get a look at that crash there that started with the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Here's the reason on the restart down into turns 1. Denny Hamlin behind his own driver, Bubba Wallace for 2311 Racing, right there, gets on his back bumper, never lets off, and out of turns 2. He just flat out dumps the 23 of Bubba Wallace, and then you see the aftermath right there. Multiple drivers collected a big hit there. The 17 of Chris Buescher involved. Harvick got a piece of it on the outside wall, and Matt DiBenedetto was able to sneak through. But then we had this incident right here through turns 3 and 4 that we're going to get a better look at here in just a moment. But Jay, I mean, Denny Hamlin not cutting his own driver any breaks here today in New Hampshire.
Yeah, right on the restart as well, just instantly on his bumper through turns 1 and 2, did not lay off of it. Winds up dumping Bubba Wallace kind of in front of the back half of the field, and chaos ensues. We now have a whole bunch of damaged cars, and I think we now have the stage set for the rest of this race to become chaos.
So as that crash is happening in the background, you see the aftermath, a big hit for the 23. But the 38 is actually going to get hooked right here by the 2 of Keselowski. But then he goes up into the 24 of Byron, and Byron can't do much right there. They come together. Around goes the 38 Byron with some heavy right side and front end damage. He was already having a rough race, and it got even worse there, as it could be a day over for that 24 car of William Byron. So back to the live scene, getting ready to go green this time by here. After a wild start to stage 2. Jay, I mean, we got some drama now. The 17 of Chris Buescher is out. It looks like he's going to get credited probably with 39th from the looks of it. So that's a big hit for a guy that looks safe, 80 points above the cut line. But now he's going to get 39th. He's only going to get 1 point for that finish. So, I mean, you got a guy like Truex, Kyle Busch, who maybe run in the top 10. I mean, that's 30 points right there wiped away just in the final stage without any of the first and second stage points. So, right there, I think his gap easily gets cut in half today.
Yeah, he will be a lot worse off than 80 above after this race. With DiBenedetto able to escape that wreck, he should be able to still gain some points this race and have a decent finish. He was running well earlier. With Tyler Reddick, I think he maybe escaped it a little bit with minimal damage. I think he's still okay. And then obviously Martin Truex Jr. running very well. Kyle Busch running well, running good as well. So there's a very big potential here for Chris Buescher to really be in a bad spot leaving this race, and we can go from thinking we only have one spot to fight for to now all of a sudden there's 2.
And of course, the chaos might not be over yet. So a guy like Kyle Busch or Matt DiBenedetto or Martin Truex Jr. even could all get caught up in a wreck, and that would really save Chris Buescher's day, of course. And then Tyler Reddick even. Oh, I just saw something in the background. Okay, so the reason you can't see all the cars is because of my NVIDIA thing. But we do have another caution, and that is going to be for the 7 of Corey LaJoie. It looks like a single car incident. I believe the pace car is already in front of the field. Yes, it is. Should be. So, yeah, Corey LaJoie around. Couldn't quite catch it right there. So we are going to get a look as there's some stack ups going on here down the SPAC straightaway. But looks like no one's picking up any damage. Thank goodness. So let's just jump straight to a look at what just happened with Corey LaJoie. Here's a look at what happened to Corey LaJoie down into turns 3. He gets the boot from the 96 of Ty Dillon. Right here it comes. There's the bump right there, and then he just never lets off and shoves him all the way up into the wall, and boom, that brings out the caution for the second time here today from New Hampshire. What we're going to do, though, is go for a quick break and bring you guys back for the restart. Welcome back from New Hampshire once again. Getting ready to go green. Jay, I mean, 2 crashes to start stage 2. I mean, 3 crashes now in the last, 10 minutes or so. Do you think this is going to set the stage here for the rest of this race? Do you think these guys are going to calm it down a little bit? By the way, Newman, just based off of pit stop strategy, is down in now 6th place. We missed the pit stops, but that's what happened. But what do you think this rest of the stage is going to be like?
I think we're going to continue to have crashes. It's kind of been the thing that's happened this entire season at short tracks. It's been the same pattern we've already had here today. It's clean all the way almost through stage 1 this time around. And then one wreck, all it has to be just to set it off. So I think we're going to continue to see some wrecks, especially when we have these slow guys out here like Quinn Hoff or Chase Briscoe.
Here it goes, there it goes.
Slowing up this field as Eric Almirola gets dumped.
Oh, it's going to be a single car incident there. Thank goodness. He just does a 360. I'm sure that's a caution. By the way, Newman has some left side damage. He got hit on the pit lane when he was coming out of his pit box. But is that a caution? Yes, it is. So Eric Almirola just got flat out dumped. One of the dominant cars from the majority of stage 1, and it's kind of unfortunate that brings out a caution there. But I don't know how it happened, but Quinn Half was able to actually stay in front of the leader. So Quinn Half is going to go from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. It might not be the end of the day for that Starcom team, the team that caused all this chaos to ensue. Once again, let's get a look there at what just happened to Eric Almirola. Here you have the look at Almirola right here. Jay, it looks like Truex decides he's just not going to cut the 10-car break at this point in the season.
Yeah, we're seeing these guys be really aggressive on the restarts and not give each other breaks and not let each other get away with things. So, yeah, these guys are going to be, we mentioned early in the race, they're going to be aggressive towards each other. I, however, did not expect them to be this aggressive, and especially this early into the race.
Now getting ready to take the green flag once again. Pit stops happen again. Kurt Busch got to the lead. Ryan Newman fell down quite a bit down the order because he was fixing that left side damage that I mentioned he picked up on the last pit stop when he got hit on the pit lane. So Kurt Busch, who was looking like he was going to win stage 1, ended up, of course, with that badly timed caution, had to settle for P3 instead. Now leads the way back to the green flag. But Jay, I mean, I think that what that caution right there proved is it almost doesn't seem to matter where you are in the field. Even up at the front, you're not very safe, as Eric Almirola was up there towards the top 5 and just got dumped.
Yeah, especially with these lap cars starting to the inside here. Though that always is going to create the option for something to happen. Somebody gets slowed up on the top line, somebody comes flying up the inside, and then they make contact or something like that. So it's very possible for anything to happen anywhere in the field, especially with these slower lap guys starting up here. As Kyle Larson is getting the real short end of the stick here.
And I mean, these guys, have proven they are going to use those bumpers today, and I can see that leading to a lot of chaos. So far, that's the first full green flag lap we have run all stage long. Keep in mind, this stage comes to a close when we hit lap 91. So a little over 27 or so laps to go in the stage, which also means these guys can make it to the end now of stage 2 after all these caution laps and extra pit stops we have done. Alex Bowman somehow finds himself now up in 5th place after all this chaos. What a rough season it has been for that team there in the 48. Now oh my goodness, Kyle Busch just destroys his own playoff chances and is going to collect Matt DiBenedetto. We have a huge pile up on the front straightaway. Caution is out. Unbelievable. Here in New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Almirola involved again, Byron in his second incident, and Kyle Busch just single-handedly, uh, potentially ruined his playoff eligibility now, although he did take out the one guy he was trying to beat. And now everything goes into Martin Truex Jr.'s favor. Wow. What a moment, Jay. I mean, we just saw it happen live right there. Kyle Busch just not cutting any breaks, and I mean, just took himself and many others out here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, maybe a little bit fed up with Kaz Grala. Maybe Kaz blocked him or something like that. Maybe he got fed up with Kaz, wanted to wreck him, to teach him a lesson or something, or just was mad at him and wanted to dump him, and didn't do it the right way, and wound up collecting himself and a majority of the field back there as well. So, in these last couple of races, these last several 3, 4, 5 races we've had, there has been a lot of issues for, it seems like, every single one of these guys around the playoff bubble. There's at least 2 or 3 of them that have the DNF or have some kind of issue happen during the race ever since Pocono. So it's really kept these playoff close and really interesting. And at the moment, Truex is put into a fantastic position. Now he's just got to avoid the chaos.
Perfect case scenario for him right now is let's get another look at a big accident here from New Hampshire. Here's a look at the next crash. Kyle Busch right on the back of Kaz Grala right here out of turns 4. You can see damage already on the back of the 16. Kyle gets hooked to his bumper and just never lets off. Boom, around he goes. And then, wow, just kind of projectiles across the track. And a bunch of cars crash, including the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto. As you see the cars crashing in the background. A big hit there for the 21. And then, oh, he almost gets hit by the 42 of Chastain. But unfortunate all around. We'll see if DiBenedetto is able to continue on along with that 18 of Kyle Busch. Now getting ready to go green again. It's going to be a 20-lap dash or so. So the 41 of Cole Custer is now out of the race. The only surprising DNF from that, actually, other than that, we had Bubba Wallace as well collected there, and he is out of the race. So now 25 cars on the lead lap, and Jay, we have a lot of damaged cars now in the field. Not sure what to make of this at this point. What a change of events it has been here. What a difference one stage makes.
Yeah, it certainly went from, nothing happening at all, kind of a clean stage, not really much of anything happening as far as on-track racing or passing or anything, and then all of a sudden we get that one caution towards the end of stage 1, and ever since then it's just been an absolute total chaos. I thought Brad was going to dump Chase Elliott there. He was all over his bumper, but yeah, it's just been kind of non-stop total chaos. I think we ran a total of maybe 3 green flag laps this entire stage. So yeah, these guys are really going at it and really causing incidents.
So Matt DiBenedetto, Kyle Busch are both still in this race and going for points. Tyler Reddick got through that accident pretty well. He got a bit of damage, but he was able to fix it. But I guarantee the chaos is not over yet, especially when they go 4 wide out of turns 2 here in New Hampshire. And there it is. Oh, we got a huge accident. 99 car has a stuck throttle or something. Up and over went Keselowski. And, well, William Byron's going to join the up and over club. Kyle Larson's terrible luck continues. Unbelievable scenes from New Hampshire as Newman's involved. Harvick got another piece of it, and oh my goodness, DiBenedetto's got even more damage. That could be the end of the line for Matt DiBenedetto. Obviously, the 24 is done for Kyle Busch with some significant damage and unbelievable. We're not going to waste any time. Let's get a look at what just happened. Here's the look right here. Kyle Larson forces it 4 wide right here through turns 1 and 2, and it all goes downhill, and the 78 slides up the track into the 5. That hooks him into the 2. They all come together, up and over goes the 2 of Keselowski. Huge hit for Suarez. Kyle Busch, DiBenedetto primarily get damaged. Watch the 8 of Tyler Reddick sneak through it as the 24 as well goes up and over, and Kyle Larson, a bunch of smoke pouring out there, and same for the 24. Harvick got through there with minimal damage, but a massive accident here and towards the end now of the second stage. So pit stops have happened again. We're getting ready to go green. Blaney is now leading. Drivers at DNF, only 21 cars on the lead lap. Kyle Larson, Brad Keselowski, Josh Bilicki, Noah Gragson, William Byron, Cole Custer, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, and Anthony Alfredo are now your 9 drivers out of this race in New Hampshire. Jay, these guys, seem to be, as this race goes on, getting even more and more out of control with these accidents. And now we look at the field as just absolutely destroyed for the most part.
Yeah, we don't have many cars left that don't have damage. I think there's maybe 12 of them or so, and that might be a high number. You know, these
Oh
guys are
boy.
being extremely aggressive with each other, and they're
Yep.
doing it again.
Yep, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott. Oh, he decides to draw the final blow to the 62. Kyle Busch is now in his third accident on the day. Oh boy. Oh, Matt DiBenedetto getting a little bit of revenge on the number 18 of Kyle Busch. As, wow. Caution's out. We got another crash down the front straightaway. Chase Elliott, if he didn't, the 8 car again. Oh my God. Here we go. Okay. Caution is out, by the way, everybody, and Suarez can't stop hitting cars. Tyler Reddick, I don't know how he has narrowly avoided these last 3 accidents. Yeah, caution is out. Let's get a look at what happened, everybody. Here's the look again. Chase Elliott this time gets to the inside of the 96 and doesn't lay off that bumper again. And, well, that causes this right here. Elliott goes around, and then he just completely destroys the 96, and that takes out all these guys back here. The 8 car made it through that, but then, well, we were not done crashing just yet, because back towards here you see the 42 of Ross Chastain comes together with the 53, turns him head onto the wall. Elliott again is going to get involved. Watch the 8 of Reddick again. Unbelievable how Tyler Reddick keeps missing these races. Jay, I mean, at this rate, I think Tyler Reddick is going to find a way to be gifted the win.
Certainly seems like at this point he definitely got some damage that time around. He was right towards the back of that group in the first incident.
Car looks great.
They all kind of came together. He got some damage to the left side. He got ran into, but it's not bad damage at all. It's certainly fixable on pit road if they even need to fix it. He's one of the better conditioned cars. Has been towards the back this entire race. Everybody up front has been lucky to escape it, but he's been kind of towards the back the entire race and has been somehow lucky to escape every single wreck so far.
So once again, pit stops have happened. We're getting ready to go green. Every time we come back, the order is completely different. But Matt DiBenedetto remains in the race. This is very important. Kyle Busch is out in 31st place after that accident. Chase Elliott is out. Ryan Newman as well as Kevin Harvick. So, not sure fully how to react to this one, Jay. Now we only have 17 cars on the lead lap, but I'm sure that this is just the beginning of the chaos. But, I mean, what do you make of this now with the playoff grid? Because, I mean, Truex and Reddick have got good opportunities, but now DiBenedetto remaining in this race has actually hurt their chances of gaining a lot of points.
Yeah, the 19 and the 8 have been lucky so far to not be involved in these wrecks, but even though DiBenedetto he's been involved in 2 pretty big ones, he's still kept himself out on the track, and as long as he's able to do that, he'll be gaining points over those cars that DNF. So all that DiBenedetto at this point has to hope for is just that he doesn't get involved in anything too hard to DNF him. Other cars don't finish, and no matter, and at that point, aside from if Truex or Reddick wins, no matter where they finish, he still should be able to keep himself inside the playoffs after this race. And he'll also be able to gain that many more points on Chris Buescher as well, which is imperative for him to gain points on him as well to make sure that he is closer to him. Winds up putting Chris Buescher down in that final spot. So that way, DiBenedetto is no longer that first driver inside the last driver inside the playoffs.
And do keep in mind, with all these crashes happening, taking out competitors or contenders, this opens the door for potential surprise winner today. So I wouldn't rule out that possibility as well. Completely messing up the playoff grid. Less than 10 laps to go here. In stage 2, Truex was stuck the whole time. He has a perfectly clean car, so we know he has speed, but he was stuck that whole time. Now down to 16th place. Less than 10 laps ago, like I said here, in the second stage. And this is the longest green flag run that we have had in stage 2. We spent the majority of this thing under caution, but Joey Logano is going to take the lead from Austin Dillon and bring his teammate Ryan Blaney with him there into that runner-up spot. Hamlin just coming out of the pit lane. I mean, we're seeing a lot of front grills on these cars today, or radiators, I should say, and that, I mean, unbelievable. Just stage 2. This has been, Jay, and I mean, after all of that, I mean, just with the way this is looking, I mean, I don't think the playoff grid is even going to be that much different unless, of course, we do end up somehow having a surprise winner.
Yeah, at the current moment, I don't think we're going to see Tyler Reddick or Martin Truex gain a whole bunch of points. They're running right around Matt DiBenedetto, and in fact, Truex is below DiBenedetto at this point. So Reddick is going to gain some points on him. He's going to get some stage points as well. So that will help as long as Reddick doesn't get dumped in these last couple of laps here.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh
It
boy.
might just happen right here.
The 20's
Something's
got
gone
an
wrong with
issue.
20.
They all check up in time and no one runs into him. That
And
really
that
could have went
actually
wrong.
puts DeBenedetto inside the top 10 now for stage points. So he's actually only 1 or 2 spots behind Reddick at this point.
Unbelievable what's going on right now. Logano, Blaney continue P1, P2. As, yeah, I mean, we look at the update on the leaderboard. DeBenedetto is, yeah, in P8 after that. So, hard to keep track of everything going on right now, but 5 laps remain. In this second stage, Martin Truex Jr. really needs to get a move on with it. He is trying to make a pass right there for 10th place on Ty Dillon, so that will give him 1 point, but overall would lose points right now if he can't get that 21 of Matt DiBenedetto before the stage comes to a close. So we'll keep an eye on that here in the closing laps of the second stage. Alex Bowman now putting together a good run, but Jay, I mean, right now we're seeing the Penske duo of Logano and Blaney just running away. I mean, what competition do they even have anymore? The guys we were looking at earlier, like Kyle Larson, who was up in the mix, out. I mean, all the main guys other than Logano and Blaney are out, so I really don't see anyone that could potentially be a threat to these two, other than maybe Kurt Busch.
Yeah, I think Kurt Busch is certainly the strongest one that we still have left at the moment. I think he maybe even be stronger than Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. He's just been put out by track position at the moment. So when we get the restart here for stage 3, it's very possible that we see Truex go at them and challenge them for the lead here. It's extremely surprising to me to see DiBenedetto actually going at Tyler Reddick right now and seeing, or almost looking like he can pass him, unless Tyler Reddick just got caught up behind Daniel Suarez, which actually might have been what happened. But yeah, DiBenedetto still has some okay speed in that car, and with the other damaged cars on this track, he may actually be decent enough to run himself inside the top 10, as here comes Martin Truex to put himself back into a stage point position.
Truex running P10 and is trying to get ahead of that 37 for 9th, and then the 21 for 8th place. Logano and Blaney here coming up on the final lap of stage 2, the longest run we've had in quite some time. I don't want to put out the caution at this point, but we have to here, as Blaney is right on the back bumper there of Joey Logano. White flag in the air. I will get the caution command here in just a few moments time when they go down the SPAC straightaway, but Logano leads the way through turns 1 and 2 for the final time here in stage 2 now, as out of 2 it looks like it's Logano leading the way now as we get that caution command in. Blaney right on the back. Does he maybe move the 22 for the stage win? Every playoff point makes a huge difference here, and it is no different when it's going against your teammate, but he gives him a bit of a break right there. Joey Logano wins stage 2 from New Hampshire. Blaney second. Kurt Busch is going to be P3. Alex Bowman gets 4th place there at the line. And I mean, Jay, if we had like the 21 out along with that 17 and the other guys, like the 18 and Kyle Busch is already out, I mean, this could be an opportunity for Bowman to somehow claw his way back into it, but unfortunately, some of his main competitors still find themselves here up towards the top 10.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Bowman, this is certainly too little too late. Even if we had the 19, 8, and 21 all DNF'd and back there in the high 30s or high 20s, low 30s, it still would be too little too late for him. And you know, he's 100-something points back, I believe. Yes, he's 104 points back out of the playoffs. That's way too many points to gain. Even if he has a good race today and the others struggle, there's no guarantee that the others struggle and he continues to have good races for the rest of the regular season. So at this point, he's got to win. He is certainly no longer in contention for points.
So now we're seeing some pit stops here at the end of the second stage. I really did not want to put out that caution just because of the way stage 2, of course, is gone. But we're going to see Logano likely win the race off the pit lane. He gets out in front of both Blaney and Kurt Busch. And those 3 cars still in great shape. And the 19 of Truex in great shape as well. We saw Truex actually pass the 21 and the 8. So he still ends up gaining points. But once again, he only gained a few points. So got some work to do. And that 19 is definitely going to need some luck. Because we look right now at, I mean, the worst finish DiBenedetto could possibly have today now is 27th place. So, I mean, Truex could still gain a good chunk of points off of that. But definitely, he's going to need something to go wrong for that 21. But then still has 4 extra races here at the end of this race to get the job done. So we're going to go for a very quick break and get ready to go green for the start of stage 3. The race comes to a close when we hit lap 171 here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Back from New Hampshire, getting ready to go green for the third and final stage. Now we made it through the just disastrous second stage where we saw many top contenders get wiped out, but now Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch seem to be the main three here, leading the way for this third and final stage. Jay, I would not definitely count out Martin Truex Jr. We know he's got speed. He's got a still somehow perfectly clean car. So, I mean, if he can find his way through this traffic here early on in stage 3, I wouldn't count him out for a potential win here today either.
Oh, yeah, certainly not count him out at all. I think he's going to need a couple of cautions or two once he gets past some of these cars here. He'll be able to find his way through them eventually, but the thing is, you know, even once he does, it's going to take him several laps, and he's going to wind up losing a lot of time here to these leaders. So he will definitely need a caution, but he's got to hope for that caution after he gets past these cars. If he gets stuck behind them again for another restart, he's going to be in a bad spot once again, and also have the potential to be caught up in a wreck if he's still behind these guys. So he needs to get through them quickly and then hope for a caution.
And of course, we've seen how severe this tire fall off is based off of stage 1, and Truex is going to have to use his tires and abuse them a lot more than a guy like Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, or Kurt Busch. So this first run is just crucial for him to get in front of these cars and then get a caution as quick as possible. Now, as you see, Matt DiBenedetto, oh my goodness, Tyler Reddick again is going to get through. We got a big crash there. Up and over goes James Davison. DiBenedetto got a piece of it again. Caution is out. I mean, got the caution, but not the timing for Martin Truex Jr. And Reddick once again finds a way to escape disaster here from New Hampshire. What a baffling moment right there. Didn't see that one coming this time, surprisingly. But caution comes out. Wasting no time. We're going to get a look at what just happened. Here's a look again. Another accident. Another Rick Ware racing car in the mix. James Davison right here out of turn 4 gets to the back bumper of the 000, hooks him into the side of Tyler Reddick, and Reddick again escapes disaster. Up and over goes Davison, and there you saw Matt DiBenedetto getting a piece of it, and I think DiBenedetto is going to be okay. Suarez just getting into the right rear quarter panel of that upside down car, and caution comes out once again from New Hampshire. One heck of a day for Matt DiBenedetto. And right now, I mean, he's increasing the gap above the cut line over at least Kyle Busch. But Truex is definitely has a golden opportunity today still. And if he can somehow find a way to clutch up and win this race, that would be one heck of a storyline here. But Jay, obviously, they're going to have to get through this 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. first, who has the ability right now to change this whole race once again.
I think that the 22 and the 12 here are lucky that they had the 34, the 43, and the 14 to their inside at the moment. Those three are still pretty clean, and I don't think they're that affected on performance at the moment. So they should be able to get away here pretty quickly. And we may see Logano and Blaney get to the inside here, the 47, by the time they get into turn 1 here. So it may not be that big of an issue. They got lucky with those cars on the inside there.
They're going to go 3 wide with them, though. So they're taking a bit of a risk right there. But, I mean, it does work for the 22 and the 12 and the 1. So, yeah, they do get by. And now the 47, yeah, I mean, look how slow that car is. Alex Bowman looks to the inside through turns 3 and 4. Truex right on the back of that 47 car. Wouldn't expect the 47 or the 19 to cut that 47 many breaks at this point now, but he gets through on the inside. Logano now has to deal with these slower cars of Briscoe, Eric Jones, as well as Michael McDowell here as we look down the order. Where's Matt DiBenedetto running? He's running right behind that 96 of Ty Dillon. We're going to keep an eye on DiBenedetto for the rest of this race. Of course, less than 70 laps to go from New Hampshire. As you see, Truex working on the back of that 48. Blaney to the outside, Logano to the inside. They're side by side for the lead and side by side between the lap cars in front of them. So not what you want to see if you're those two drivers now. But Jay, I mean, Alex Bowman, I mean, obviously we see damage on his car, but he looks competitive. And I mean, there's just a lot of possibility here for some surprise winner today. And I mean, Alex Bowman, I mean, could be that guy that does come in here over 100 points below the cut line and potentially wins his way in.
He has to look at doing everything he can right now to win this race. He has to forget about points. Points don't matter at this time. at this time in the season. He's 104 points out. That's way too much for him to gain. This is his best shot to win. With how many cars that have had struggles this race so far, it's automatically put him up in a good position. Now he's just got to find a way to get himself into victory lane, as that might cause an issue there for a moment. Nope, they get away with it clean. But he's got to find a way to put that 48 car in victory lane. This, I think, at least as far as this whole season has gone, this is his certainly best shot of the season, and he needs to take advantage of it and try and put himself in victory lane. But at the moment, that 19 is showing that he is extremely fast. He's already gotten around Alex Bowman, and he's going to attack these leaders.
Gonna go to the top here. Try and make a move there, maybe on Kurt Busch, but Bowman's gonna fight back on the exit of turns 2. Logano trying to work his way through that traffic right now as he's still side by side with his teammate Ryan Blaney, as Kurt Busch might follow through on the inside line. As you're seeing Tyler Reddick move his way forwards now. So, Jay, I mean, of course, that's the first guy below the cut line behind DiBenedetto. So, I mean, DiBenedetto still got to, I mean, obviously, we see the condition of his car, but he's got to get everything he can today because that 8 car still has a perfectly, for the most part, clean car and could find himself in the top 5 potentially, which could be a big hit to DiBenedetto, who has, by the way, though, worked his way up into 11th place.
Yeah, luckily for DiBenedetto, even though Reddick is making up spots, he's not too far behind him. So, at the moment, there's not too much separation between those two drivers, and there wasn't much separation between them in stage points either. So this 21-point gap should get smaller after we leave this race, but I don't think it's going to be too terribly small. I don't think we're going to see Tyler Reddick below 15 points to Matt DiBenedetto, unless DiBenedetto winds up DNFing or Tyler Reddick goes out and finishes second or third in this race. But at the moment, Reddick has been kind of in a really bad spot for track position this entire third stage so far. And I don't see it getting any better for him.
And Reddick right now runs 9th over DiBenedetto in that 10th spot. Ty Dillon up here in the top 10. Corey LaJoie running in 7th place. Just goes to show how wild this race has been. Now as DiBenedetto, I mean, is getting to the back of the 8 of Reddick here, trying to put some pressure on him as they go off into turns 1. So, unbelievable drive. Oh, Alex Bowman is around. Remember what I said about him being a potential candidate to win this race? I take that back as caution's out again from New Hampshire. Actually, I have no idea what happened there. So it looks like he got dumped going into the corner, which we haven't seen today. So yeah, let's just get a look at what just happened. Here's a look. Alex Bowman down the front straightaway. He's going to get hooked in the right rear quarter panel right here into turns 1 by that 20 car. And very, very interesting tactic right there, Jay, from the Joe Gibbs driver.
Yeah, maybe there was some team orders given there from the 18 and 19 perspectives of them needing him to not have a good finish or a win. Of course I'm kidding. That definitely didn't happen. But yeah, that's as you said it when we were looking at there in the replay. That's typical Alex Bowman moment for the way this season has gone. In perfect position to try and make something happen, much like he was at Pocono, and he winds up with a wrecked race car and destroyed chances.
Getting ready to go green again. They did come to the pit lane. We still have a mandatory pit stop before this race is over. They cannot make it to the end on fuel. Maybe even 2 stops. They'd be I know that it should be just 1 stop. So Joey Logano getting ready to lead the field back to the green flag. Unbelievable, Jay. Honestly, it's been a while since we've had a race turn out like this, but it just seems to be a feature of these short tracks here in NR2003. They get wild, and I mean, we look at the playoffs, we got quite a few short tracks there, so I can only imagine how crazy the playoffs are about to get this year.
Yeah, I think the last time we had a race like this was Richmond.
Well,
they're going at it again.
Oh, Chastain into the side of the 15 of Davison. The 14 gets dumped. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the wrecking is not over yet here, as they got to get through turns 3, out of turns 4. Now it looks like they're actually going to be okay. Yes, they will. Caution's out. We're not even going to bother with a replay on that because we caught it in time. We just straight up saw the 15 dump the 14, and Chastain got involved. Caution is out. Haven't seen much of those today, so this time we're going to go for a quick break and come back here in a few moments for the restart again from New Hampshire. Back from New Hampshire again. Joey Logano ready to lead the field to the green under the pit stops. Ryan Blaney had a slow stop down to 7th place. Kurt Busch into 2nd. Truex 3rd. LaJoie and Preece 4th and 5th. If Corey LaJoie, Ryan Preece win, that doesn't affect anything. They are not in the top 30 in points, I don't believe. So it would be perfectly fine for that to happen now as Logano leads the way through turns 1 and 2. And I mean, Jay, I don't see anything stopping Joey Logano today from victory now with Blaney being so far back. And I mean, the only thing that could stop him is someone wiping him out at this point, I think.
Yeah, that's the only thing I see that's stopping him as well, and it certainly seems like if you're up towards the front of this pack, you kind of avoid all the chaos. Now watch me jinx him, and in 2 laps he's destroyed. But yeah, it seems like if you're up towards the front, and these lap cars have kind of shown that too with Eric Jones and Michael McDowell, they haven't been caught up in anything either. So it certainly seems like being up towards the front of this race has its advantages. And now I think Ryan Blaney really needs to be worried because he's back here in the territory of getting involved in a wreck.
Doing a good job so far, working his way through the traffic, but obviously has quite a bit to get through still. As you see, Logano being hunted down by Kurt Busch. Truex third place as we look a little bit further back again. And Blaney, oh, it's going to get close. Oh, he squeaks through there, 3 wide through the middle. I saw some contact between him and that left rear quarter panel of that 16, but they do make it work, thank goodness. So Blaney remains in good shape as they exit turns 2, and things calm down a little bit now as they go down this back stretch. Reddick making some moves up into P6. He has to run down that 37, get to the top 5. You see Cody Ware running up here. He is not on the lead lap, but nonetheless doing a decent job right now. As you see that 1 car of Kurt Busch putting on some pressure to the back of that 22 of Joey Logano. So baffling race here so far from New Hampshire. Denny Hamlin, I mean, he's actually been going in and out of the pit lane all race long. He is 12 laps down right now here in New Hampshire. It's been a day for him as well. As you see, the 42 of Chastain still remains in this race, and we get another look at Matt DiBenedetto, who runs in the top 10. And I mean, JFE remains on the lead lap. I mean, with that destroyed car, the guy is still going to finish at least 14th if he remains on the lead lap. What a story. Like I said, if he makes the playoffs just by points and not by a whole lot, this is the race 100% that we have to look to for them just sticking with it and fighting through.
Yeah, he is certainly scrapping for every single point he can get, and really having to work at it with that damaged car. And even though Reddick is making up places at the moment, DiBenedetto is still not too far behind him in the top 10 at the moment. So DiBenedetto is putting himself in the spot that he needs to be in. He's taking the circumstances he's given and running with it and doing the best job he can. And I agree with you. If he's able to make it on points, and if it's a close battle on points, this race I think certainly is the biggest moment of the season so far for him. And especially if he's able to keep himself inside the top 10 or finish on the lead lap, it's going to be really crucial for him, and he could really keep himself from losing points when a lot of these guys are trying to take advantage of some guys around the playoff bubble struggling.
Fastest lap of the day so far, the 12 of Ryan Blaney with a 30.3 second lap, 2/10 nearly faster than the second place driver of Kurt Busch. So Blaney, I mean, we know that speed. Obviously, he hasn't got the track position currently now, as you see DiBenedetto working now on the 3 of Austin Dillon, and that is for 9th place. So DiBenedetto working his way forwards, and you look just in front of him, the 10 car is for a spot as well. So DiBenedetto has a legitimate chance of moving up into 8th place here before long, which would only be 2 spots below what Tyler Reddick is right now there in that 6th spot. So I mean, you compare Tyler Reddick's car to Matt DiBenedetto's, you would never think there'd be a 2-position difference potentially between these guys, especially in the top 10.
Not at all, but that just goes to show how chaotic this race has been, how many cars there are DNF'd, and how many cars there are a lap down. That even with that extremely destroyed car, that car that's been put through 3 or 4 massive wrecks that somehow have not DNF'd him, he's still able to find himself inside the top 10. And he's going at some cars here for positions. He could find himself up into 8th place, maybe even a little bit higher than that if the 37 winds up falling down to that group that he's in. So, at the moment, he's still looking like he can have a decent points day and get a decent or get a good finish out of this.
Reddick moves into the top 5. LaJoie running in 4th place currently. Blaney trying to follow through there with Reddick to move up into 6th place. DiBenedetto did get past the 10 of Almirola, so he is now up into the 9th position here from New Hampshire. So, I mean, he's putting together a nice little run. I think this performance alone should get him a top-tier ride next year in the Cup Series now, as we're seeing him try to get to the back of that 3 again of Austin Dillon. And now Reddick is working on the back of the 7 car of LaJoie for that 4th spot. So he's making moves. I obviously don't think he has a car capable of winning this race, and I'm surprised to see Martin Truex Jr. kind of struggle to get past the 43 of Eric Jones there for Richard Petty Motorsports. Now, I mean, 43 car is in pretty good shape, but he is actually down 3 laps in 22nd position there. So unfortunate for them. But Jay, I mean, we're just seeing that 22 continue to run well. I mean, even before all the chaos kicked off, we knew he had speed, qualified on the front row, has been running up front all day long. And I guess, obviously, it's been proven that you're not safe anywhere. But that 22, they've just done a tremendous job today staying out of trouble. And now we're starting to open up a little bit of a gap to that 1 car.
Yeah, really, from the start of this race, it looked like it was going to be between Joey Logano, once Eric Almirola got past, it looked like it was going to be between Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, and Ryan Blaney. And at the moment, Blaney's kind of stuck back there due to strategy and track position, but we still have Logano and Kurt Busch being the 2 fighting for the lead. And at the moment, even though I think Kurt Busch might be a little bit faster, even if he is, I don't see how he gets past Logano. Is once again, clean air is, it was a topic of conversation earlier in the race with Eric Almirola leading and not getting past. And I think it's still going to be a factor here between Kurt Busch and Joey Logano. So unless some tire strategy comes into play here, which if we get a green flag run, we should be coming up on pit stops here in about 10 or so laps. It's highly possible we'll see some strategy played here, and maybe Tyler Reddick can go and get himself the lead if he does a strategy much like Ryan Newman played.
So Logano looking good. You got past the 15. Davison puts him another lap down. That car flipped over earlier, and you can certainly tell when you look at the roof of that thing. Now is what we're going to do, though, from lap 131. This is the calmest things have been since a little bit before the end of stage 1. We are going to go for a quick break and bring you guys to the end of this race here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Back from New Hampshire. Kurt Busch coming out of the pit lane. First guy coming in. This is going to be the last pit stop of the day for these guys. And Jay, I mean, this could be a tremendous call. And the aid of Tyler Reddick came in before any of them. So this is a tremendous call, especially for Kurt Busch. I mean, we see with the tire fall off his leg, this is going to be probably putting him out front of Logano when he decides to come into the pit lane, which is going to be right here.
Yeah, that's just like I was saying. He should try and do what Ryan Newman did, pit a couple laps before anybody else, and then he's going to be out there on fresh tires for a couple of laps. So it looks like he did that here. I don't know if he's going to have enough time on his fresh tires before anyone else gets on them. I think Kurt Busch is going to wind up staying in front of him here, and Kurt will probably wind up having the lead. But it's certainly a great call from Tyler Reddick. Now we just have to hope that towards the end of the race he doesn't fall off too much and lose those spots he gains.
So Kurt Busch, yeah, it should cycle out to the lead. De Benedetto's going to stay on track. Not much to lose for that team, obviously. Now with just over 20 laps to go from New Hampshire. Here is the big question. Logano is just coming out now, and Kurt Busch. Well, all right, so Joey Logano's no longer winning this race. So Kurt Busch is out in front as Denny Hamlin doing his laply pit stop decides he's going to take Logano out in the process this time. Well, Jay, we were talking about how Logano's not going to lose this race. I think he lost this race.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got damage on the right side, I'm sure. Nope, staying out. He's staying out, but obviously, it's too far back.
That is certainly chances over without a caution, yes. And even with the caution, he's going to have to pit and get that damage fixed and then be way back on track position. So,
Truex is just pitting now. So
yeah, Truex is going to no longer be in contention either.
He lost half a lap. Wait, what in the world?
Wait, Tyler Reddick got ahead of Kurt Busch somehow.
Here's a look. Kurt Busch being held up behind the 16 of Kaz Grala is going to allow this to happen right here. Tyler Reddick just blows his doors off, goes by on the outside. And I have no words for that. And now Tyler Reddick leads in New Hampshire. I hope he's still leading. Okay, perfect timing. 3, 2, 1, go. Now here's a live look. Kurt Busch side by side with Tyler Reddick. Jay, that Kurt Busch should have never been in that position in the first place. But now, with 20 laps to go in this race, we're seeing a duel between these two, and these are the same two drivers that were going at it for the win in Richmond, where we saw Kurt Busch come out on top after a late pit stop.
Ryan Blaney just pitted there with a lot of rear end damage, by the way. I'm not too sure what happened to him, but his rear end is now demolished. But yeah, that was a bit silly by Kaz Grala, but it was also really stupid by Kurt Busch to just sit behind him. He had every chance to go to the inside and get around him. So, you know, unfortunate there for Kurt, but, honestly, he did it to himself. He could have easily gotten around Casagrala. But I think we're seeing at the moment either A, Kurt just has that much of a better car than Tyler Reddick, which I think he does, or B, that 1 or 2 laps that he has fresher on his tires compared to Tyler Reddick is really giving him the advantage at the moment. And he's going to be able to get himself around Tyler Reddick here and reclaim the lead.
Yep, he is clear now. But of course, he's going to have to deal with the 47, the 42, the 21 even, and I'm sure a few more cars that he will have to get through before this race comes to a close. And don't rule out somehow a potential caution either. But he gets by the 47 of Stenhouse, no problem. The 8 of Tyler Reddick is going to look to follow through as well. But, I mean, this is big right here, Jay, for Matt DiBenedetto. I mean, for everybody in the playoffs. Don't even forget Chris Buescher as well, who is all the way down in 39th place. So, if Reddick finds a way to win this race, it makes it unbelievably harder for everybody to get in that's on the outside.
Well, you look at who he's behind right now and who just played some teammate games in real life last weekend. Ross Chastain certainly just helped out Kurt Busch massively right there. Now Kurt's going to have over a second lead, and that was all due to Chastain blocking Tyler Reddick through turns 1 and 2. So he just gave, once again, a friendly gesture there to his teammate. Now Kurt Busch has got some separation between him and Tyler Reddick, and when I already think he's got a faster car anyways. So Tyler Reddick may have to hope for a caution here.
Well, we get that caution. That's the big question. Coming to 15 laps to go here in New Hampshire. You see Logano working his way past Timmy Hill. He's going to have to come out behind Denny Hamlin here. They had their run in there on the pit lane. Hamlin's literally just going to come into the pit lane right here as it comes through turns 3 and 4. So there you see Kurt, though, in good shape right now. But like I said, he's got to work his way through this lap traffic, and we just saw how he lost that lead originally was because of a situation like this that he's getting himself caught up into right here. But he's going to look to the inside this time. Matt DiBenedetto, by the way, last car on the lead lap in 9th place, and then Almirola is up ahead of him there in P8. So, Jay, things are looking pretty good for DiBenedetto right now, who's only going to sacrifice maybe 7 points or so in what could have been a lot worse for him.
Yeah, he's somehow going to be able to salvage a top 10 finish here. And I think he's also faster than the 10 as well. It may have just been some tire strategy that got the 10 way ahead of him, because Eric Almirola was very slow compared to DiBenedetto earlier. So it's possible that he might even catch Almirola here before the end of this race and can get himself into 8th place. And with that kind of damage that he's got, if he's able to salvage that kind of finish, that is possibly season saving for him. Even with Tyler Reddick finishing in 2nd place, he should be able to retain his points lead still and head into these final 4 races in a couple of weeks when we resume in early August. He could head into this with even though it's small, he can still head into this with an advantage over Tyler Reddick.
A 2.5 lead Kurt Busch now has, as he's going to try and look to the left side of DiBenedetto. Not close enough there into turns 3 to make said move, but just like I said, just over 10 laps remaining, and now it looks like, definitely, if Reddick wants to have any chance at all, or anybody, it's going to require a caution. Joey Logano's even losing time at this point to the leader of Kurt Busch. There you see Logano right there. Back here, we got some battling going on. Kurt Busch, 1 win on the season already from Richmond, has done a tremendous job in that 1 car this season, and now, Richmond had its craziness as well. It's like all of a sudden, these short tracks, it seems like Kurt Busch is really starting to shine at.
He's just able to survive the chaos. Even though he was strong earlier in the race, he's still out of pretty much everybody in the field. Even Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney have now fallen victim to things happening to them to where they've now gotten damage and no longer in contention. So I think he's one of, if not the cleanest car in the field at the moment. So he's just been able to survive the chaos and keep his car in good position. The one thing I'm seeing here that should not be happening is I don't know why DiBenedetto is fighting Kurt Busch so hard. It's not like DiBenedetto needs to stay on the lead lap. He's not going to have the ability to gain many more positions, if any positions at all. And the more he holds up Kurt Busch, this gives Tyler Reddick a chance to kind of reel him back in a little bit. So DiBenedetto really needs to let Kurt Busch go and then go and hold up Tyler Reddick to make sure that Reddick doesn't win. So this is kind of baffling here for me for DiBenedetto.
Reddick did lose 0.2 of a second there on that last lap while Kurt was behind the 21, so it might be okay. As Kurt, though, yeah, he tries to take a look, but doesn't have the raw speed right there to make that move to the inside of the 21 car. So a little bit baffling, but I think he is going to be okay, as he has 3 seconds to work with 9 laps remaining in this race. And as Reddick crosses the line, the gap is now 3.3 seconds, so he's still losing time to Kurt nonetheless. So I think he's going to be well off. Logano might actually have a chance to get there to the 8 car.
Yeah, I believe. I'm sorry, Gary. I was going to say I believe that Logano is actually faster than Reddick at the moment, because even though Reddick lost time to Kurt Busch, Logano gained time to Kurt Busch. So that means he gained time to Tyler Reddick as well. So I think he's still got a very quick car. Just, no longer in contention for the win, but he could still maybe get second place from Reddick here.
He's definitely closing that gap. So, I mean, every point for a guy like Tyler Reddick, Matt DiBenedetto, is going to be crucial here in these final laps. So, if you're Reddick, you're going to have to fight as hard as you can. And, of course, he's got a car in between him and Logano, and that's the 53 of JJ Yeley, so he might be able to use that to his advantage. Kurt, though, look at all this traffic he's going to have to work his way through now with the 51 and the 78 as well. And still, don't rule out, I mean, it's been green for the last while, but I would not rule out a potential yellow. They have proven that they can strike at any moment, no matter what the condition of the majority of the cars are here on the track. All it takes is one little mistake on the entry of turns 1 or 3 or on the exit, and someone will collide together, and a caution will come out here. And that's why we have the opportunity for overtime enabled now, as Kurt Busch puts that 78 car a lap down. Now you're seeing the 22 has no one between him and the 8 of Reddick, but actually is about to have his teammate between him and Tyler Reddick from the looks of it now, as Kurt continues to lead the way through with 6 laps to go from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Jay, it's been one heck of a race. I mean, we had our boring stint there in stage 1. We had the chaos from stage 2 to stage 3. Now it's nice and calm, and I mean, just what a race. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a good thing though that we're only going here once a year in NR 2003.
Yeah, if we went here twice, I think we would see 2 of these races, much like we saw 2 Chaos Pocono races with the, half the field wrecked out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it is a good thing for NR's sake and honestly real life sake too, with how boring this race usually is, that we only go here once a year. But I think right now we're going to have the potential to see some teammate games played here. Obviously, with DiBenedetto being Penske affiliated and needing every point he can get, we might see Blaney get in front of Reddick here and kind of hold him up to push him back to Logano, and then maybe Logano gets around Reddick right as we get towards the end of this race. So, never mind, Blaney's just going to run away from Reddick, but I still think we might see Logano be able to get to Reddick here and maybe make a pass on him before this race ends.
He's closing. Kurt trying to work on the 51 now of Cody Ware as they come through out of turns 4. Just 4 to go when they cross the line, and you're seeing that gap get smaller and smaller between Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano. Now only about 2, 3, maybe 4 car lengths between the two of them as they go down into turns 1. Definitely less now as we go into the corner. 5 seconds back from that 1 car of Kurt Busch. They are now, as we get one last look at that 1 car, still trying to work on that 51. Does he have enough nut into turns 3? So let's get focused here on this battle. Like I said, every single point for Tyler Reddick right now is just unbelievably important at this point in the season. And I mean, we still have 4 races of potential chaos as well coming at you guys, with 2 road courses of Watkins Glen, Indianapolis road course, and then Michigan, which is going to likely be a pack race, and then of course Daytona as the regular season finale. So there is still, Jay, with 4 races to go, lots of potential for just an unbelievable amount of chaos and more surprise winners.
That's what makes these points here super crucial. You're in the position to get some very good points. You have to make every single one count because you don't know what's going to happen in these final 4 races, with 2 road courses, one of them being brand new, and then obviously Michigan and Daytona. So those 2 races, Michigan and Daytona alone, have the ability, especially Daytona. We know that's going to be a pack race, and we know that's going to be a wild race. So that certainly has the ability to create something wild. And then the first time going to the Indy road course, these drivers haven't seen that before either as well. So, excuse me. We have a lot of potential here in these last 4 races to have a lot of things happen, and I don't think we're done shifting positions points-wise. And we might also see a new winner as well.
And Kurt Busch out of turns 4 is going to take the white flag. Logano's only going to get 1 opportunity. He got held up a little bit there passing the lap car, so he's only going to have 1 shot at passing that 8 of Tyler Reddick. Blaney trying to unlap himself here on this final lap. I will get that caution command in just a second. Now is Kurt. I mean, heck, you never know. He could get turned here before this race comes to a close. But into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, Kurt Busch looking strong now. One quick look back there could get interesting now as Kurt Busch, out of turns 4, is going to come through to win in New Hampshire. In the back, it's Logano versus Reddick here as they come through side by side out of the corner. And oh, right at the last second, Logano is going to get Tyler Reddick at the line. And it is race over. Kurt Busch wins for the second time this year at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Logano finds a way to get that point away from Tyler Reddick. Martin Truex Jr., a big day for him. 4th place, but unfortunately, he didn't gain as many points as we thought he could have, as Matt DiBenedetto finishes in 8th place, and of course, Reddick up there with a strong 3rd place finish. And I mean, just overall, a crazy race. I mean, we're going to just exit right out here and look at the finishing order here with Kurt Busch coming out on top. Jay, a big statement for them. Of course, they pick up some more playoff points, but more importantly, we look at a guy like Kyle Busch, who finished in 31st place. This guy is going to be probably at least 25, 30 points lost right there. He could be about 50 points below the cut line at the end of this thing and be worse off than his teammate Martin Truex Jr. with only 4 races left.
Yeah, we can really see those two kind of flip positions. I don't think we'll see Truex be 20-something points out. He's not going to gain that many points. But Kyle Busch is certainly going to fall down to around 40 or 50 out. And then we'll see Truex probably 40 or 30 out now. So, we're going to have a closer battle between Reddick and DiBenedetto, but further out for Kyle Busch, and then Truex gaining a little bit here. But certainly not as much as I think Truex wanted to gain, and certainly with how that race went, where he was able to keep his car clean, and you saw some other guys around the playoff bubble start having issues. But in the end, he winds up not gaining as many points as he wanted.
So, as always, if you guys enjoyed, you of course know exactly what to do. We'd like to thank you all for sticking it out here and watching this disaster of a race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where we end up seeing Kurt Busch on top at the end there. So now we have our quote-unquote summer break for the actual points races. The next race will be August the 8th. So I've got a few weeks to go, and that'll be at Watkins Glen. Like I said, there's going to be a couple exhibition races in between for you guys to watch on the weekends. But Jay, I think we're both looking forward to the next races. We got Watkins Glen and Indianapolis Road Course back to back, and once again, I think these final 4 regular season races, I mean, anything can happen in those.
Yeah, we're gonna have, I think, 4 exciting regular season races to end off this regular season, heading into the playoffs. You got some close to point stuff going on, and potential for new winners. Guys looking to get as many playoff points as they can heading into this final stretch. Guys looking to gain momentum, like Kyle Larson, who have lost it recently. So there's a whole lot of storylines that could go on here. And potentially guys like Matt DiBenedetto trying to fight to save his career, knowing he's not going to be in this car next season. And Kurt Busch trying to make the decision on what team he wants to go to. So we have a lot of things that can happen here in these final 4 races, and then on to the final 10 race stretch as well of the playoffs.
So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Only 9 cars finished on the lead lap here today, by the way, but that will do it for us here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We will see you guys next week for some exhibition racing, but August the 8th for the next points race there with 4 races left on the regular season. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.